Good morning. Welcome to NewsWare's Trade Talk for Wednesday, January 14th. Okay, let's get into the action. Take a look at the S&Ps. The S&Ps are actually just turning. We're down about 0.15. Action is fast. I mean, we were down like 0.4% all morning long. It just turned. We're now down 0.13%. So we're seeing some buying coming in. On the geopolitical front, you got the Danish and Greenlandic foreign ministers. They're going to be at the White House today. They're going to be meeting with Vice President Vance and Secretary of State Rubio. That could be something there. Bank earnings remain in focus today. What else do we see? Tensions in Iran remain elevated as those protests continues. After the bell today, the Supreme Court is expected. It could be today, it could be Friday, but they could be making the announcement this afternoon on the legality of the Trump tariffs. That's something to watch out for. Pharma stocks are on watch this morning. Apparently, the Trump administration appears to be closing the probe into the pharmaceutical imports, so that's positive for the pharma stocks. Cybersecurity, they're negative. They're weakening this morning as China looks to ban various U.S. and Israeli cyber security software stocks, so from doing business in the country. So we're seeing some weakness in that sector. On the earnings front, I mean, listen, I'm watching BAC. It just turned lower. I mean, it was higher. Citibank is up a penny. Wells Fargo is down about 2% this morning. They all released earnings this morning. Tomorrow we got earnings from Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and Taiwan Semiconductor. Those are some ones to watch. Okay, let's take a quick peek at the European markets and see what's going on in Europe this morning. We're looking at the DAX. The DAX is lower. It's down 79 points or 0.31%. It was down 100 points. Seeing some action in the financials, so something to keep an eye on. The FTSE, on the other hand, the FTSE's up 0.37%. You got oil stocks trading higher, mining stocks are trading higher. That's benefiting the FTSE. That's why you're seeing the FTSE gain. The CAC in Paris is up, flat to higher. It's up 0.04%. Luxury stocks are mixed. Remember, you got that Saks, Fifth Avenue Saks stores. They declared, they're filed for bankruptcy, and some of the other luxury stock names are creditors there. So we're seeing some, mixed action, I would say there. So mixed action in the luxury segment in France. Then we're turning over to Asia last night. In Asia, you look at the Nikkei. The Nikkei jumped another 1.48%. That's 792 points. The markets are gearing up for possible snap elections next month. And aggressive fiscal spending is emerging as a central campaign theme. So, if they happen, that could be positive. Hong Kong, the Hang Seng, that finished higher. That index finished higher by 151 points or 0.56%. You saw some positive action in tech, consumer stocks as well. You're looking at China. China fell. They put some rules on, buying stocks, buying stocks on margin. They're kind of against that. And the trade surplus hit $1.19 trillion for 2025. I mean, that's enormous. And, that's the biggest, country trade, surplus, on record, I believe. So as a result, China weakened a little bit. Then we have to turn our attention and we have to look at, oil, because oil continues to gain. We're up another 1% essentially. WTI is at $61.75. That's up 0.98%. You got Brent at $66.14. That's up 1.02%. I mean, geopolitical dynamics continue to shape market sentiment. Later today you get the EIA inventory report. That's going to clarify the direction. But last night, you got the API data that came in. Remember, those are estimates. They showed a 5.27 million barrel build. That's negative for oil prices typically when you get a build in stockpiles. But you know what? Oil continues to move. It's going to break. I don't think it can hold these levels unless there's some action that happens in Iran over the next few days. But oil trading higher by more than 1% this morning. Okay, now we're going to get into the earnings, and we're going to take a look at the earnings action. We're going to start off. Well, I guess we'll start off with Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo, they beat by 9 cents, but they did it on lower revenue. That's not good. That's why the stock's down 1.97% this morning. You're looking at what else came out here. Bank of America, they beat by 2 cents and they did it on higher revenue. Stock's down 0.50%. Then you're looking at Citigroup, ticker C. They beat by 19 cents, but it was done on lower revenue. Again, that's an issue. That stock now, it was up a penny. Now it's down $2. It's all over the place. But the Citigroup, did deliver a beat. Upcoming tomorrow morning, you got Goldman Sachs. EPS is at $11.69. Expected move is 3.96%. You got Morgan Stanley. EPS is $2.36. Expected move is 3.99%. And Taiwan Semiconductor EPS $2.72. Expected move 4.79%. Listen, they released their preliminary numbers about a week ago. It's a worthwhile read. It's worthwhile to go back and read those figures. I mean, for the year, it looked good. For the quarter, not so good. But Taiwan Semiconductor releasing earnings tomorrow morning. Okay, let's move on to the economic front. The existing home sales data is coming out at 10 a.m. Then at 10:30, you get the EIA stockpiles. But at 2 p.m., you get the Beige Book coming out. That's going to be kind of important. 2 weeks ahead of the Fed meeting, you get the Beige Book, and that's going to give you like some indication of what the Fed's feeling. I don't think it's going to change the narrative at all because I don't think they're going to be. I don't think the Fed is going to make a move on interest rates. I think they're going to stand pat, but we'll have to wait and see. In terms of Fed speakers, the docket is heavy today at 9:50 a.m. At 9:50 a.m., Philadelphia Fed Bank President Anna Paulson. 10 a.m., we're going to hear from Fed Governor Stephen Miran. At 12 noon, we're going to hear from Atlanta Fed Bank President Raphael Bostic and from Minnesota Fed Bank President Neil Kashkari. And then at 2:10 p.m. this afternoon, New York Fed Bank President John Williams will be speaking. Okay, let's take a look and see what we see in the markets this morning. I'm looking at my Dow stocks. It's, 9 higher, 21 lower is what I'm seeing. Two-thirds are lower. That's about that's really what's happening here. You're looking at your FANG stocks, you're seeing weakness across the board. Netflix is showing a gain, but that's really it. On Apple's down 0.5%. Yet that Supreme Court decision on tariffs this afternoon may be a benefit for Apple. Amazon, they're looking to cut suppliers' pay ahead of the Supreme Court tariff ruling, though, I will say. Netflix, trading higher as they're preparing to make that bid for Warner Brothers all cash. If they make the bid all cash, it's not as attractive to Warner Brothers because Warner Brothers wanted stock for appreciation. But it gets them by making it all cash bid. It makes it a lot easier for them to go through. It makes them go through the FTC hurdle. Tesla's off by 0.5% this morning. Musk says Tesla's fully self-drivers to become subscription only. Okay. Looking at Dow Jones 30 News, we're talking Coca-Cola, ticker KO. They ended talk with a couple of potential bidders for Costa Coffee. They said the bids were below expectations, so they walked away. They said, we're not dealing with this. NVIDIA received approval from the U.S. to ship AI chips to China. Listen, Beijing still needs to approve it. It's not a done deal. It's not a done deal. You look at shares in NVIDIA this morning, they're down 0.5%. In terms of guidance news, Biogen, ticker BIIB, the ACQ4 pre-tax charge of $222 million. That's about $1.26 per share. That's kind of, that's not minor. Biogen's down about 0.2%. In terms of catalyst calls, Citibank opened up a 30-day downside catalyst watch on Royal Caribbean, ticker RCL, Richard Charlie Larry. Okay, that's what I have for you this morning. Let's move on to our pick of the day. And, this morning, I'm going to go with JB Hunt, JBHT. I think there might be something there. Earnings are out tomorrow afternoon. Not tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. So yesterday the call volume was 1,355 versus put volume with 12,035. Open interest, again, it's negative, and that kind of indicates, that they're not really feeling it. I mean, open interest is 10,500 versus put volume of 11,800. That elevated put volume is a warning sign. I've been saying this the last few days. When you see, these earnings reports are not hitting all of my all of my, data points, which really indicate a positive trade, but I still think I can make money in it. So you look at the major brokers, they're positive on it. They're raising price targets. They love JB Hunt. But for me, I'm going to wait. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to, try and get in. I'm going to say the 203 range. Depends on how it opens. I think it could show I think the market will open up weaker. I think we're going to see some weakness in JBH Hunt as it gets into earnings. But tomorrow, the day of the earnings, it could turn. So, but I do think that if I can get into low price on a little bit of sell-off, I might be able to make 1% today because I'm not negative on the stock. But that's my pick of the day, JB Hunt, JBHT, John Boy, Henry Tom. Okay, let's take a look and let's move on to our hot off the press segment and see what's, if there's any big news coming out. Airbnb, they announced a new chief technology officer. Okay. X-Ray, they did a new U.S. dental distribution partnership, including dental tech. That's kind of positive. Wendy's launching new biggie deals. WEN. Let's see. Well, Honeywell, I mean, they said that they're, that the company they're spinning off plans to file an S1 for a proposed IPO. That's causing Honeywell shares to really lead the Dow higher this morning. Honeywell is up $4 this morning. That's a big mover in the Dow. JD.com, they're paying $558.9 million for a logistics firm. Plans to take the company private. Palo Alto Networks, along with FTNT and Avago, Broadcom, they're said to be banned from China due to national security concerns. Checkpoint Systems is an Israeli company. They're also on the list. That's all I'm seeing this morning. Okay, let's take a look and see how we did on yesterday's stock of the day, which was Citigroup, ticker C, as in Charlie. Listen, it was a tough one. You look at the stock, it opened up at 117.23, well above my entry price, and then it fell down. It fell all the way down to, and then it rallied, I should say. Then it rallied up to 118.23 before closing at 116.30. And it did fall down below 116. And I was able to get in under just $116. I made money, and I walked away because, the put volumes were just causing me nervous since they were so strong and outdid the call volume. So I kind of walked away. But I looked at the stock this morning. There it is, trading 116.70, and looks like it is trading positive. So Citibank is trading higher off of higher than the closing price yesterday, not back to where the opening price is. I made money on it yesterday, yeah, but I can't really call it a gain just yet because it's not hitting that 118 level, but give it time. It looks like the report wasn't too bad. I haven't really read it because it just came out, but Citigroup is in flux right now, but looks like it's moving higher. Okay, traders, that concludes today's podcast. You guys know what to do. Let's go out there and let's make some green.